Natalie is back tonight from Tobin, Ramon, and Barber. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we want to talk about estate planning. Is there a certain season you should be talking about this, or just all the time?
I think spring is perfect. I think you should clean your closets and do your estate planning.
Okay, I love that. I agree. Spring is like a great refresh in all of our minds. So
Yes.
a reminder to like put this on your to-do list. So
Yes, please.
Who should be planning their estates?
Everyone.
Okay.
And if you are a homeowner, you should be planning to have a trust included in your estate.
Okay, so I guess we should take a step back and remind people what an estate is.
Okay, so an estate is just a collection of what you own. So it can be a lot or it can be a little bit, and you don't have to be uber wealthy to need a trust.
Okay.
If you are a homeowner or a condo owner, or you own something that is affixed to the land, then we will, at your death or your loved ones that you leave behind, they're going to have to probate to get that residence sold and distributed, or to transfer the deed, or do whatever you said in your estate planning documents. But if you have a trust, you can bypass all that.
Okay, which sounds good, because it sounds like
Yeah.
bypassing some hecticness, especially for your friends and family. Like, do them a
Yes.
favor and do it.
And especially when they're grieving. Like, I could sit here and explain, I won't, I'll save you from that, the whole boring probate process. It's very tedious, it's very long, it's a minimum of a 6-month court case.
Okay.
And you can just avoid all of that.
If you just have that trust.
Yes. And when you're grieving, it's so hard to go through all of that.
Yeah.
Even though the attorney does all the heavy, sorry, I touched my microphone. The attorney does all the heavy lifting, you still have to sign the documents, and you still have to take an inventory, and you
Sure.
have to do all these things where when you're grieving, we call it grief goggles. It seems like a lot.
I bet.
Yeah.
Now, okay, that was the trust. That's why having a trust is so important. Do you have to own property to have an estate?
No.
I feel like people, well, me. I thought that when I hear estate planning,
Yeah.
it makes me think, just because when you hear of an estate sale,
Yeah.
I think about
Right, you think of a fancy,
like, gotta have a house, or
Yeah.
else you don't have an estate. But you're saying
Yeah.
you do have an estate even if you don't own property.
correct. Your
Okay.
estate could be your 401k,
Okay.
Your checking account, your personal property, your jewelry,
Okay.
your vehicle.
Okay, so that all counts under,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what you want to do for your family. Basically, this is all for someone else. You're doing all
Right.
this for the people that you love.
It's kind of like buying life insurance.
Yeah.
Like, you pay the premium and other people benefit.
Right. So at what age should you really start, like, thinking about having an estate plan?
I would say it's really great when parents encourage their children that are about to go off to college
Okay.
to establish a power of attorney for property, so that their parents can look at their grades.
Okay.
Like the 18-year-old
Yeah.
kid is the client. And then for healthcare, if there's an emergency, if you're in college, especially like if you're out of state and you're 18 or older, your parent is not necessarily your next of kin. So before your kids go off to college, power of attorney for property and healthcare.
Okay.
So 18.
So that's kind of where you should get things rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And once you like start doing that and start talking about these things and planning, it becomes a little easier to have those conversations with your family, right? The parent talking to an 18,
Yes.
19-year-old.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of just normal then, right? Which is
Yeah.
what we want.
It's something we talk about.
Right.
Like, hey, these are some documents that are important for you.
So if you don't have an estate plan right now and you are an adult, we should get that going. How long does the process of establishing one usually take?
With our office, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
So your first appointment with us is just a consultation. It's like getting your car fixed, right? Quotes are free. So we sit down, we talk with you. I've got the packages nicely lined up, depending upon whether you want the foundation of your estate plan to be a will versus a trust. And then we've got flat fee price points associated with those, depending on what works right for you. And then we set out an appointment, if you decide that day which package you want. We set out an appointment 3 weeks later
Okay.
to have you come back.
So that is great to know, because that isn't that much time, right?
Right.
So if you were a little stressed out thinking, Natalie just told me to put this on my spring to-do list and I already have
Yeah.
5 other things, it's okay. Like, it's not
Yeah.
as taxing
And
as
there's
big
no
as it
homework.
feels.
You don't have to bring anything.
Oh,
Like, people
okay.
always ask me, okay, I'm gonna talk to you about a trust next week. What do I bring? And it's like, just yourselves. And they're
Okay.
like, what?
You like that.
And then when they pick their package and I say, you're gonna come back in 3 weeks, they say, okay, what do I have to do? Nothing. You just paid for the pleasure for me to do everything.
I love
just
that.
show up and we'll go over everything.
Perfect. So what's the best way to get things moving and get an appointment with you guys? Phone call, email, what's the best way?
I would say phone call is the best.
Okay.
To call our office number.
Good. And that number is right there on the screen, 815-544-0316. And you can always get more details on their website and on ours. Natalie, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We are checking in with our friends from Anderson Feed next, and then we're taking you to ABC Supply Stadium for a batting cage battle. Don't go anywhere.